这句英文要怎么说啊？
让我告诉你。
What's up, yo? 欢迎收听这句英文怎么说，我是
I'm Duncan, and we have a guest today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeni.
This is Jeni from Birmingham in the UK.
All the way from the UK.
Right,
大老远来了。And she's a coach in business communication, and we are thrilled to have her here to share her insights and experiences. Please welcome Jeni again.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so
you didn't actually come from the UK today, right?
No, I came from Taichung.
From
all
Taichung.
the way from
All
Taichung.
the way from
yes.
Taichung.
也是
But
很
originally
远。
I'm from But originally I'm from the UK, of course.
We're
yeah.
glad you could join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so start off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the field of business communications?
Sure, yeah. So my name's Jeni, as you guys know. I came to Taiwan the first time, I guess when I was around 18 years old. Me and Duncan are actually...
Yes,
we're actually classmates. We go back a little bit,
Yes,
well, we're only 21
all
now,
the way
right?
back to Donghai Dashi.
Yeah, we learned Chinese together, actually.
Huayu Zhongxin down there. Yeah, that was, already 13, 12? Too many years
Don't
ago.
talk about
Too many years
we
ago.
don't need to go into that much detail. But it was around 2009, 2010 time, so it's going back a little bit now. But so that's, I learned Chinese there alongside Duncan, of course. And after that I went back to the UK, got my degree. Then what did I do? I moved to Germany.
Oh, okay. How long were you in Germany?
I was there for 3 years. I was working in Germany for 3 years.
Okay.
As a business consultant. And that's when I kind of started to get interested in business consulting and starting to think that might be something I would do in my career.
So what made you leave Germany, or what brought you back to Taiwan? Or that's too many? What made you come back to Taiwan?
Taiwan made me come back to Taiwan.
Okay.
No, I just love
food?
Taiwan. Yeah, the food, no, it wasn't the food. It was the... 人情味.
That's the
Right?
best answer. That's the best answer. Yeah.
It was the people. It really was. Yeah, I just had this longing to come back to Taiwan. So I did that in 2018. And then I began working at a medical company. And
And that sort of got you into the business field, like communicating with salespeople and cross-cultural interactions and things like that?
Pretty much, yeah. So in both my jobs, so in Germany as well. In Germany, I was a business consultant. I was actually running a consultancy at that time. And with both of my jobs, so I've always stood in the middle between, the East and the West, kind of. With language skills, of course, but also with cultural knowledge.
Okay.
So I've kind of brought the two together, sort of thing. So, that was just something I was really interested in, so...
Okay. Yeah. And were you doing that as soon as you got back to Taiwan, sort of like getting into consultancy? Or what? You said you were at a medical equipment company?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you there before you sort of went freelance? Like you're freelance now, correct?
I'm freelance now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So I was there for about 3 years. And during that time, I did a lot of facilitating communication and things like that. So again, it was just something that I was really interested in, and I thought at that time, this is something that I can really pursue as a career. And then I decided to get a master's degree, and that was I kind of stopped working at the medical company then. While I did my master's degree, and then went freelance. When did I start freelance? Probably about last year.
Last year.
Once I finished my master's. So.
那我很好奇，你来台湾的时候，毕竟你知道我们台湾人is very curious about Westerner people， 就是因为长得跟我们不一样嘛。那你来台湾的时候，最常被问到哪些问题？就是你想说不要再问了。
There's a top three. A top three I always get asked. Okay. You want to
always
know?
in the same order?
Yeah, they're always in the same order, pretty much. Yeah. The first one is 你是美国人吗? Always. And of course, to that, I'm like, no.
Do they seem let down when you say, I'm from England?
No, they...
Is it more interested?
They're... Are they more interested? I don't know if they're more interested, but then they'll try to keep up the guessing game of where I'm from. I've had many places, Belarus, Russia, random places. But
or they would say, I love Harry Potter.
Yeah, I get that one, and I have to say, I'm sorry, I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
And then they say, and 你真的是英国人吗？ Yeah, but anyway, so that's the first question they'll ask. 你是美国人吗? And then of course the answer is no. And then the second question is, 你是英文老师吗? That's the second question. And sometimes I say yes if I'm feeling lazy.
It's an easy out, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Well, we can finish this conversation up quickly.
Exactly. It depends who I'm talking to, you know. Yeah, I match my audience, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then the third question, interestingly, then they'll move on. There's always this transition. They'll move on, and they'll say something like, "Oh, 那你敢吃臭豆腐吗?"
It's like on the back of their mind. They're just like, I gotta know if this foreigner can enjoy臭豆腐.
Right, and then when I say 敢啊,可以啊, and then they have this shocked face, you know, like whoa.
Yeah, I feel them.
Yeah, and then they'll say something like 那你应该来很久咯, something like that.
Yeah, like oh, you know what it's like here in Taiwan.
Yeah.
还有吗？其他常被问到的问题？
还有吗？当然，你结婚了吗？
Oh yeah,
that's a classic.
The clear transition from you eat 臭豆腐 to 你有结婚了吗?
And then they always have an or like somebody that they know, right? They always know somebody.
I can introduce my son to you.
Yeah, right. And then they'll start telling me about their son and how 优秀 he is or something like that.
Everybody likes to play matchmaker. 我觉得就是好像对社会这就是一个小好玩的游戏. Just like, oh, can I hook this person up with this other person I know?
Right. It's interesting. Like I eat 臭豆腐. I'm okay, so I pass the test, right?
Oh, well, then you got to get a husband.
Yeah, exactly. 融入台湾. Anyway, so that's that.
好，那我们刚刚讲到说，那个 Jeni 她刚刚提到说她在德国其实是一个顾问，然后呢之后呢她是一个那个叫做行销经理，在台湾的一间药厂公司。那我们就很好奇说，因为其实但我们都知道西方跟东方其实不太一样嘛，那你有没有一些你在合作上面关于跟西方客户还有东方客户比较不一样的地方？譬如说我听说台湾人谈生意的时候真的很喜欢应酬，一直去喝酒，甚至招待他们去旅游，然后签一个合约搞得好像在分手，一直在拖。对，或者是说呢，西方人讲话比较直接，有时候我们东方人亚洲人比较会心碎这样子。对，那因为不是有一句话叫做人情留一线，日后好相见。
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that one before, yeah.
对, so could you share something about the differences between collaboration with Western clients and Asian clients with us?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So the first major difference I would say is that Asian business people tend to really focus on the 关系, like the relationship. So they'll take a lot of time to build the relationship because as far as they're concerned, it's actually more of an investment. And it's more of a lifelong commitment almost. So, they really take a long time. And so it's not something that can be done overnight. And it's like you say, they really do. I don't know about going to drink. I have seen that. I wasn't expected to take part being female. Lucky me.
Exactly.
But the going traveling and stuff like that really is true. We'll be driving further and further and further, and the customer's getting more and more nervous and saying, "Are we actually going to do any business, or are we just here for fun?"
Kind of I've heard there's like Western business people, salespeople, marketing, like they like to do. It's like business first, then pleasure.
Right.
It's like let's get the deal out of the way. Let's sign whatever signatures or decide on costs, and then we'll have the drinks and the parties. But in Asia and a lot
it's
of
the opposite.
It's like we need to sort of loosen them up, sort of get used to each other, start like make sure that we can get along and have this good guanxi. So we need the alcohol and the parties first. And then maybe tomorrow or the day after we'll get to the business. So this can create tension and confusion.
Yeah, you see them sweating, like they're like, are we ever going to actually sign this? But really, it takes time to build up the guanxi, so they put a lot of work and effort into it. But that guanxi is for life. It's something that isn't really broken. Whereas I feel like Western businesses, they might.
It's like more of a like. Do you think a lot of companies are just like, oh, well, a one and done is fine. If we'll just make this deal, it's okay if our guanxi with them doesn't carry us into next year.
I feel there's a sentiment of that as well. I feel,
It's like maybe the Western mindset is just like cast a broad net, make as many small deals as you can, and the ones that like prove durable will just continue. Whereas like maybe in Asia, they're like, we're not going to waste resources and time and people on too many possible, connections or partners at once, or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So from my experience, it really is like that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and then moving on to the second big difference that I noticed, it's kind of connected to the first one. So that is a question of timing. So when things like contracts are signed. So in Asia, so the Asian business people, they really focus on dinner time being just for dinner, right? Yeah. Eating time is exclusively for eating, right? Is that right?
It can be like something about business, right?
Yeah. So you leave your business topics at the restaurant door, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't bring it in, and that's not something that we're necessarily used to. We feel, or maybe Western business people feel, oh, it's easy, kill two birds with one stone.
A lot of European cultures are like the dinner table is for business. Like,
right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Italians, right?
Yeah,
Italians
right. Yeah.
Would they sign a contract during the dinner? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've seen Western business people take a contract to a restaurant, with them, and fully expect, they've got the pen there and everything waiting for it to be signed, and then the Asian business person being like, oh, that's kind of rude, This is dinner time. We eat now,
Just enjoy the food, right?
Yeah, enjoy the food, and they don't even necessarily talk so much during the dinner time. It's really focused on food. Whereas for us, like I say, it's kind of like a kill two birds with one stone. We can get this done, get this moving.
Yeah, I think that like the British and by extension the American mentality is very practical. No, there's no need for like too much sort of extra performance.
Right.
It's just like this is our priority, so let's get this out of the way.
Right. And I would say as part of that, we don't really have this, or Western maybe people don't really have this notion of like miento, like face, so they don't need to impress. They or don't have this kind of we'll take them to wherever. And
I came for this, I'll get it, and then I'm gone.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And everyone can carry on with their day and do their business deals and everything's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. So that's an interesting one to facilitate because it takes a lot of explaining between both parties, because that's actually something that can cause offense, actually. Accidental offense, of course, So that's one. Yeah, I've encountered that many times where I've had to explain to both sides, this is how it is for you guys. So, yeah.
然后像之前也有听过说，就是有时候西方人讲话比较直接一点，或者是我们亚洲人其实会比较委婉。譬如说，你问对方，你问亚洲人说，这件事情你觉得可以吗？我们就会说应该可以。
Yeah.
然后西方人就想说，所以到底应该可以是可以还是不行？
这个应该很危险哦。
对。Jeni 有没有这方面的经验？
有。Yeah, this 应该 should be okay. What does should be okay mean? Does it mean okay or not okay? Yeah.
It's kind of like handing it off to you, be like, you decide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And maybe there is this kind of notion like, oh, should be okay. Maybe they decide no, right? Just because of the ambiguity, right? Who knows? But yeah, I do feel that Westerners in particular value direct or a more direct approach to communication. I would say Americans especially.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
I've received emails from Americans picking on you just because you're the American here.
They are like really lacking in politeness.
Yeah, just one or two words. Just email with one or two words. Yes, go ahead or whatever. No, let's discuss. Something like that, right?
Yeah, which is really kind of awkward for an email. I think I've been in Asia like a good long time, and I feel like it has sort of opened me up to the more Wei-Wan side of like conversation and business communication. Yeah, but you're right. A lot of Americans just this is like the bad American tourist often gives. It's just like very like low self-awareness of like how you impact the chiefun of an area.
Okay.
I think it's a common issue with some Americans, not all.
I can't comment on that. Yeah. So and then British again, we're different again. So we also have our own way of speaking. But in general, I would say that Western business people are more direct,
more straightforward.
More straightforward. Is it a yes or is it a no?
Yeah.
The no might be followed up with an excuse. That's perfectly okay as well.
I get the directness. It does like. Logically, practically, for like time and energy expense.
Right.
I understand the need to be direct and to like get your priorities together quickly.
Right.
But there is you can do it in a bit more polite way. I think
right.
Maybe not all American businessmen have quite come around to that, that understanding. But
Yeah, it's another difference, I guess. Yeah, and it's one that can be, I think, quite surprising for Asian business people. The directness from Westerners, sometimes I think maybe it comes across as a bit abrupt or a bit rude, and that maybe can come as a bit of a shock. So yeah, it is a little bit of a culture shock for both sides.
Yeah, it's a culture shock. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
好，那讲到合作嘛，其实合作上面应该很常会需要用 email 来沟通，对不对？那 is there anything that you find it interesting or we should pay more attention to when you're writing an email? 有吗？
有啊。So I think one thing that's with the way the world is at the moment and the way the world is moving, I think there's a lot of outdated speech. That's kind of, we used to use it, and maybe to the older people among us, it's not so problematic. But the way the world's moving, that there is a lot of stuff that's outdated. And I think if we're not careful, we can still put that in to emails, whereas it's not necessarily required now. So
比如说我想到一个，因为我们以前大学的时候会教那个 business email 嘛，然后我们就譬如说开头就会说 I hope this email finds you well。
Yeah.
对，然后就想说 Why is find? The verb find.
Yeah.
我们要去哪里 find you? 对 ，Is it a game of hide and seek?
Exactly.
对，所以我就很好奇说，那所以这一句 What does it mean exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
And the email is the acting subject.
Yeah.
So this email is looking around for somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of interesting, but weird at the same time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's why. For that reason, this is actually quite outdated now.
It within a purely, let's say, British context, it's not an issue. But when you get to cross-cultural messages, you're definitely gonna confuse people with that.
Totally. Definitely. Yeah, exactly. And for the reasons you say, I mean, how can an email find you? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think. Yeah, I would say for this one, I think, you could just leave it out. You can just jump straight into the email, or it really depends on the relationship with the recipient. And yeah, there are different layers to relationships, of course, and that dictates what's acceptable and what's not. So yeah, but that one's a classic. Yeah.
所以其实还是可以用，就是看你跟对方的关系怎么样。可以取决你要不要用 I hope this email finds you well。
如果你觉得他们了解这个文化背景，这样他们可能会觉得你是有一点 old fashioned 的人，但是我觉得不是一个 like it's not bad, but just a little, maybe it could be awkward.
Yeah, 我会建议说 I hope you're well. Yeah, 就简单一点啊 I hope you're well. I hope you're okay, right? I hope you're doing well. Yeah.
听起来也比较有关系比较好一点。
Yeah, right. I actually care about you. Are you okay or not, right? Yeah. So I hope you're well. I would say that. It takes out that strange kind of email playing hide and seek situation. Yeah, I hope you're well. That's a nice one.
那想说，那现在不是 AI tools 很流行嘛？那我们其实只要想要写信，那我们就叫 AI 帮我们写就好了。那就 Jeni 来说，你觉得如果是用 AI 来写 email 的时候 ，is there any pros and cons？ 就是或者是你觉得我们真的可以100%的相信 AI tools 吗
？I feel pros. There are some definite pros. Of course, you save time, right? But I think one of the largest cons is that you just can't 100% rely on it. You're the only one that knows your real situation.
Yeah.
You're the only one that knows what exactly you want to say. The AI tool doesn't. It's there literally as an assistant. So what I would say is you can maybe 85% trust it. I think it's very good for grammar and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't trust it 100%. It still also does use some outdated language as well, I noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
And some stuff that's not quite relevant. So I would say, you can use it, like I say, as an assistant. I think that's okay, but 100% trusting it, I would be very cautious.
没错，因为就是其实不管是不是只是写信啊，其实很多时候你在用 AI 的时候，你都不能完全相信它，还是要先去查一些资料啊，然后或者是那个叫什么相互比较一下，它到底是不是正确的。
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of which, we are decided to announce that we are collaborating with Jeni to launch a new business email course. Could you give our listener a sneak peek into what they can expect from this course?
Great, yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I'm also very excited to have worked with you guys, and thank you. So it's a really great course, actually, I would say, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah,
why wouldn't it?
right? Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It really helps. I would say it's really good for people who are kind of seasoned business professionals, but also those that are just getting into the business world. I think there's some really good parts in there. So we talk about basic principles of writing business emails. I think those are always good to know. There's some things that, some things that are maybe common sense, but many things in there that is like, oh, I didn't think of that. That's pretty cool, you know? So that's good. There's another part in there that talks about getting rid of these outdated expressions. So I hope this email finds you well is only one of many outdated expressions. And then we talk about different email scenarios. So we actually give 7. I won't reveal all of them just now, but yeah. But for example, like taking leave or quotations, or one that's really interesting is job application and resignation letters. Yeah.
How do you approach that in an email?
Right, because it's so awkward, you know. Even for us, it's an awkward situation, but there's ways to get around it, right? Whereas if you're a non-native English speaker, you might just get completely lost in this awkwardness, right? And it will give you a big headache. So, we actually, it's really cool. So in the course, I actually give like draft emails that you guys can use. So the students can use those emails and apply it to their own situation. They can put their own information in and apply it to their unique situation. Nice. It's actually pretty helpful for them. Yeah, and then we give some useful and practical expressions. Also to do with, obviously, with email content. And then the last part is really interesting. So it's actually how to use AI tools for English writing, so for business emails. So that's quite interesting. I go through some prompts that you can use, and then I also look at what the AI tool throws out.
Any specific AI tools that you recommend or use in the course?
I don't think we talk about one particular one. Are we allowed to talk about it? There's so many AI tools now, you know. There's
isn't like Grammarly now using? Isn't it like a quasi AI tool as well? Like,
I think pretty much. You would class it as that. Yeah. I mean, that one's a nice one for just checking that your grammar's in check and stuff like that. Yeah. But there's so many to choose from nowadays. Yeah. But I like I say, so I look through what the AI tool that we used, it's what it throws up, and then throws out. Sorry, and then just go through it and see if it uses anything kind of strange or...
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then within that, you can see that maybe you can't rely on it 100%.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So, it is. It was a lot of fun to do. Yeah.
Jeni, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights. And so for our listeners, if you are interested in our upcoming business email course with Jeni, please check out the link below for more details. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity to enhance your communication skills with Jeni. 然后 Jeni 最后还有什么话想要跟大家说的吗？或是你想要宣传你自己也可以哦。Jeni 想跟大家说
加油。
好 Okay, and I think that's all for today.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Jeni.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Everybody, go check out that course. Go practice your email writing, and hopefully we'll see you again on the show sometime.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we'll talk to you next time. So, bye, everybody.
Bye.
拜拜，就这样咯。